Alright guys, we're finishing up trimming some more 223 and 556 brass. I know it's going to be a little loud there, you have to forgive me guys. But I got a new to me, I don't think it's really super new, from Lee, but I got one of their ram swage for swaging the primer pocket holes for in the regular press, not the app or ACP press, I think it is. But we got this one and one more to do here to prep up to get ready for that stage, and then we're going to give it a try and see how it goes. This will be my first time setting it up, so we're going to figure it out together here. If I don't have to pause the video and come back to it. And snow here, light flurries right now. In an hour or two, is supposed to be a greater chance of not much of anything, just a nuisance snow, but it might be enough that we got to go out and treat the areas that I'm responsible for. In case you haven't seen my other video making 300 hammer brass from 223, this is how I do it. I run it through the decapping sizing die first, all lubed up. As you can see, I got my heavy coat on, my old wood stove out here I built. I think I got the stove pipe a little too small. It's not drawing enough. Either that or I got to get it a little higher, get it to draw better. Can't get it to run like I want it to. I mean, it takes the chill off, but it takes a long time to really get going good. I think if it drawed better, or would draw better, it would get up to temperature quicker. I should have paused yet. No, a guy at work got hurt, so I had to do some paperwork that I never did before, so that was a new experience for me. No, I did that out of order. Now I'm not thinking, I'm thinking about work. I took any case lube off of there. No, it didn't stick. But then I run it back through there because the pipe cutter squeezes it and you can't get the Lee zip trim arbor in there. done with this noise here in a minute, guys. All right. And we'll move that noisy thing out of the way. Get some of our other stuff out of the way. Clean up here a little bit. Roughly, crudely, whatever you want to say. I need to get myself a little shop vac for out here. All right, let's open this up. Now, I did open it. I wasn't expecting it till later in the week here, but so we got our instructions, and I did look through them once already. And here's the they're calling the guided swage push die. So we will, actually we're not supposed to do it like that. We're supposed to turn that over there, and we're supposed to get, we need the small one, which is this one right here. Just put that in, leave this out. Take a casing. Alright, so first we put that in. Then we place a deprimed case that needs, as you can see there, needs swaged. Hopefully you can see. For some reason my front facing camera quit. So to do that, and raise the swage holder to the top of the stroke. Okay. Then we screw the guided swage push die in until it reaches a firm stop. Alright, well, right there I'd say it touched the bottom of the casing. And then we raise the lever and screw the guided swage push die in an additional quarter of a turn. So we'll raise this and we'll go a quarter of a turn. I'm going to say there. Then we need to well, how are we going to know we didn't push on nothing yet? I don't feel like that did anything. There, it feels like it's doing something. Now you're supposed to, I don't have one here, let me get one. You're supposed to have a primer and see if it'll start. When it starts, you have the correct adjustment, You're supposed to turn the lock ring down. Let me get a small rifle primer. I don't think it's starting yet. You can kind of see something's happening. There it really feels like you're getting good pressure. Oh yeah, there it's definitely, in my opinion, it's definitely starting. So right there is where I'm gonna, now what I'm gonna do is, I don't know which one I have in here. That ain't the one. Well, we're going to real quickly, since we have the ability to do this, pull our tape off here. Get our small one. We're going to seat this primer just to make sure everything looks real kosher. It went in there very nicely. Might actually went a little, I don't know, I hate to back it off. Part of me wants to de-prime it and see how much resistance it is. We're going to back it up just a wee little bit. to try and hold the die while we try and thread this down. We're going to see if it stays put. I guess that's tight enough when we're jumping the sprockets on the I guess I ought to show you guys there instead of here's beforehand, if it's focusing there. Yes sir. I'll clean it. And there is afterward. You can see that hopefully you can see it's focusing, that the swage is pushed out. It definitely makes that primer pocket look big again like it's supposed to. Here, we'll clean this one up beforehand. Okay, hopefully you can see that there. And we'll run one through. And we'll look at it afterward. Certainly opens it up nice. Alright guys, well, I think we're going to try and keep this a short video. If you liked it, so far it seems like it works really well. It's simple to use. We'll let you know. The real test will be when we go to run these through the Loadmaster around through there if they prime right, because then that'll let you know that you really got those primer, the crimp out of there. But hey, give me a like, subscribe if you like what you see, check out my other videos. There's some good ones in there, and there's some that might make you laugh and some that might make you go, this guy's a dumbass. But anyhow, hey, don't forget, we all got to preserve our freedoms in this country. And it's going to take all of us. It's going to take all of us at the polls. It's going to take all of us talking to our politicians and our congressmen, our senators, congresswomen also. But I think the biggest way that we're going to win this fight about personal freedoms and the right to own firearms is let's spread our love If you're watching my channel, you already love shooting. Let's spread our love of shooting as a sport, as something you grew up doing, you know, for hunting, whatever it might be that you enjoy. Try and spread that amongst the people in your neighborhood that might not be as active or might not have been as fortunate. You know, I was very fortunate. You know, I grew up in a household, as many of us do, where guns were a part of everyday life. I was lucky enough to live out in the country, in my personal opinion, you know, and you learn to shoot at a very young age. And, you know, guns were another tool just like everything else. But they were something that was enjoyable. You know, I fondly remember learning to shoot with my father and my grandfather. And, you know, hopefully I have those memories for as long as I live. And I think that's part of what makes it difficult now, is there's so many young Americans that are not, I'm going to say, fortunate enough to grow up in a culture like that, in a household like that, where, you know, learning to shoot is a fond memory that you share with your mom, your dad, your grandparents, you know, whoever it might be that taught you how to shoot, you know, or if multiple people did, and they did a good job at it. Not, you know, this dumb retard shit of fucking putting a 12 gauge in with some high brass load, ounce and an eighth, in some little kid just to see him go, ow, ooh, that hurt, man, that hurt my shoulder, huh, huh, huh. You know, that don't do nothing to help shooters. That's just fucking dumbness. Anybody that's that goddamn ignorant to put a firearm in somebody's hand that they haven't either been properly instructed for, because size certainly plays into it, but there are very small stature people that are capable of shooting some of the largest calibers out there. But they had instruction and practice, and they worked up to it, and they gained the ability to control that firearm. It wasn't one of the first things that was put in their hand. I don't know, that, as you can tell, that touches on a sore subject with me. I hate to see that. It wasn't done to me, but I hate to see or hear stories of it. And you see videos on YouTube, you know, where somebody will put a Desert Eagle in their wife's hands that have never shot before, or, you know, even, you know, a 30-06 rifle with some, you know, polymer, lightweight, plasticky type stock that doesn't have a lot of mass, a real thin barrel, you know, there's something that's light and convenient to carry, you know, a mountain gun, somebody might call it, to go hunt sheep with. Well, that means the lighter the gun is, the more recoil you have to absorb. You know, people think a light gun, oh, that'll be good for that smaller stature shooter. Yeah, but that just means they got to absorb more recoil. Sometimes the heavier the gun is, the more pleasant it is to shoot. That's why a 22 is so pleasant to shoot. You take a 22 in a little Derringer and shoot it. Now, not that it's horrible, but there's definitely more wrap there because the gun weighs less. You take that same 22 and put it in like a Ruger Mark II pistol, it barely moves because the gun's so heavy. Now, it doesn't mean it's too heavy to hold up, but, you know, it like I said, I got sidetracked there. But anyhow, let's spread our love of shooting and our shooting sports to our neighbors, those neighbors that are maybe not anti-gun, but they're not pro-gun. You know, invite them to go shooting with you. Keep it low-key, have a good time. You know what I mean? Give them proper, safe instructions on how to enjoy our sport, and you might win somebody over to our side that's going to vote the right way when the polls come. It's just something to think about. The more people we win to our side, the stronger our army is. instead of going, well, them people that I don't see them at the gun club, or I don't see them at the shooting range, or they don't go hunting, whatever, they must be anti-gun. Well, you don't know. They might be in the middle. They might be standing on either side of that fence. And we could maybe win them over to our side very easily with some common sense and civility. Alright guys, well, like I said, we'll do some more of this here in the future, but there's my first little taste of Lee's ram swage, and it certainly is better than the way I was doing it with the I call it the rocket ship, but your chamfer tool. I would just go in there and chamfer that primer pocket out while I would remove that brass. And I didn't really like the idea of that, where this isn't removing any brass, it's just pushing it back where it belongs. So definitely a better option for that job. And basically you're just pushing it down onto that. If you look, there's a taper on that pin, and this here has a spring under it. That's what pushes it back up off of there. And then there's a pin on the end of that die that goes the whole way through your casing, so that it's pushing down on the case head thickness there, and pushing that on there to roll that edge back a little bit. But so far it definitely seems to work very nicely. I think there's wasn't bad, but there's a little bit to getting it adjusted. But I think we got her, but we'll certainly find out when we go to prime a bunch of them. Run them through the Loadmaster. That's a finicky thing. Everything got to be perfect if it's going to prime right, in my opinion. And I like Lee, and I like that Loadmaster. But it seems to take it right out. I mean, it looks super small there, super small. And now it's pushed out. Anyhow, I was trying to end this video and keep it short. We saw how that went, didn't we? Alright guys, hey, take it easy. Be safe out there. Enjoy some shooting.